Hey everybody, welcome back to a new video. So today we'll be discussing and analyzing different Vita Carnis entities and seeing if we can survive them. Now, some of them are easy work, some of them can just be straight up impossible. And if you're not familiar with Vita Carnis, it's where a species called a Carni comes out of nowhere and let's just say it wreaks a little havoc and kills a lot of people. Yeah, not very good. So that's why we're here to find out how we can survive them and prevent encounters. Without further ado, let's start the video. So let's start with our first entity, the trimming. This cute little guy right here. Now, what is he capable of? Well, he's at the bottom of the food chain, being, mostly defenseless and pretty weak, yeah, to say the least. It's even to the point where people have considered them pests. And yeah, they're so harmless to the point where some of them even keep them as pets, so yeah, if you even need to fight one of these guys, just kick it with like a soccer ball. They're like this big. It's not even a fight. Come on now. I don't even need to explain this to you. Meat snake. So, what's the meat snake? It's a 10-foot long, fleshy creature resembling a skinned snake. Yeah, not the most pleasant thing imaginable, but it is what it is. Now, is it dangerous? No. It shows little to no hostility towards humans, and it only consumes rotting carcasses, leaving living animals almost alone. The only time it will attack is if a human disturbs them when they're feasting. Otherwise, they're completely harmless. Can you defeat one? Absolutely. They're, not the fastest, so using a long weapon would be perfect, wearing it down from afar. But yeah, you don't really need to fight this thing in the first place. If it does attack you, yeah, just use a weapon that is long enough for you to stay away from it safely while attacking it at the same time. So that's how you beat the meat snake. Not that complicated, not too hard, no. Alright, moving on to the next one, the mimic. So, what is a mimic? A mimic is a 7-foot tall monster that hunts and kills humans. But unlike the tormentors from the parallel, they can actually be killed. So how do you kill one? Well, for starters, most conventional weapons are not strong enough to defeat one or kill it before it gets close to you. So things like pistols and baseball bats and knives are off the table. What about something like a spear? Spear could work, yeah, but it's more than likely stronger than you. So I won't risk having to jab it a couple times. Maybe have something that can attack it without having to risk doing anything physically with it. Such as a hunting rifle, assault rifle, or shotgun. I would say something like a shotgun would be absolutely incredible, being able to tear through flesh with ease. If the mimic hasn't spotted you yet, hide. Don't risk an encounter, just simply hide, and call the local authorities. Wait for him to arrive, then you can get out of your hiding spot. And if for some reason you need to leave your hiding spot, always make sure you're armed, cause it's better to be armed than to face these things unarmed. So that's how you deal with a regular mimic. Get a weapon that's strong enough to damage it. And one more key thing is barricade. Barricade everything if you notice one in the area. Board up windows, put iron bars if you have them, and most importantly, lock the doors. Lock it. And of course, keep the key with you at all times. I don't care what you do with it. Tie it to your shoe, tie it to your pants if you really want to do that. Anything that'll keep it in close proximity with you. It's important to note that you need always be secure of your home, especially in a situation like this. So that's how you deal with him. Yeah. Get weapons, ones that are powerful enough to damage it or kill it before it reaches you. Barricade yourself, keep yourself safe, far away from them, and if one hasn't spotted you, get out of the area and alert the local authorities. They'll deal with the situation. Alright, pretty simple, yeah. It's just the execution that can be hard. If you feel like one is in your home, do what I literally just told you. Call the authorities, let them deal with it. Don't risk anything. That's how you deal with a mimic. Yeah, I was kind of an idiot, and I forgot to mention that there's 2 more variants to the mimic. So I'll start with the one that's the most dangerous, the elder mimic. The elder mimic can stand up to 10 feet tall, is strong enough to rip doors off its hinges, and rip people apart. Yeah, scary. It's also not mentioning that they're almost bulletproof, except for their face. So, if you ever encounter one, aim for its face, because it's only weak spots on its body. It's important to note that one elder mimic kills 4 SWAT operatives in quick succession. Yeah. And they had like armor too. They weren't completely like naked, no. They did have some protection. That is quite scary, yeah. So it's important to note that it is best not to engage at all. Because those operatives were armed to the teeth, they still ended up getting killed by it. So, how do you deal with one then? First off, if you see one that hasn't spotted you yet, find a place that's safe to hide in, lock yourself in there, barricade the entrances, and alert the local authorities. Only come out of your hiding spot until you're absolutely sure the police have arrived. If they haven't arrived yet, just simply be patient and wait. They have said that mimics and tapes will not wait too long for prey, so if they can't find prey, they'll simply go to another spot. So yeah, kind of like a standard mimic, except don't engage, unless you're absolutely forced to. If you are, unleash hell on it and pray. Do whatever you can to survive it, cause this thing is scary. So I've covered the elder mimic, but I have not covered the other variant, the humanoid mimic. Just like the elder mimic, a humanoid mimic is what happens when a mimic gets an abundance of food, and it evolves into a more evolved hunter. The humanoid mimic closely resembles a human, getting a shorter, more human-like appearance, getting more skin, hair, fingernails to look more human. However, it's important to note that it's quite easy to identify one if you look closely. First off, take a look at their face. If they have bulging eyes, an uncanny grin, or really long and disgusting fingers, yeah, it's very likely to be a humanoid mimic. So, now we got the mimics covered. What's the next entity, you might be wondering? Well, it's this thing right here. What is it called? A harvester. What does the harvester do? The harvester is this creature that resembles a fleshy egg. Looks harmless at first, just a messed up Easter egg. But the deeper you look into it, the scarier it does get. Because this thing's actually alive. And it has tendrils stretching out for a 100-meter radius around it. Now, what do these tendrils do? Whenever an animal that it considers large comes within a 100-meter radius of it, such as a deer or a human, it injects them with a paralyzing venom, stopping them from moving entirely. Then, it injects them with a venom that stops your blood from clotting, causing you to bleed rapidly and later killing you. Then it later absorbs your nutrients and, starts the process all over again. Scary, yeah. So how do you survive one of these? Well, they're quite easy to survive, actually. Avoid forested areas and look out for harvester signs. Because, in a series, some people actually use their brain and put down signs warning people not to go in the forest that have these signs. So, Just don't go in within any area that has a harvester in it. If you do end up in a harvester field, try throwing something like a backpack for a distraction and then try to run. Because it'll be interesting in a backpack, or like any object you have, throw it and try to distract it and make an escape for it. Once the distraction is over, stop. Just wait. Try to find something else you could throw, like a shoe maybe, and then run, and rinse and repeat until you're absolutely sure you're at least over 100 meters away from it. Then immediately flee and call the local authorities and alert them of the incident that just happened. Yeah, and that's how you beat a harvester. Yeah, they're not that hard because the only way they can move around is when they uproot themselves, which takes time, and they are not capable of pursuing humans, only able to trap them. So yeah, that's all said and done. Let's move on to the next entity. A quick important note is, if you do end up going in a harvester field, chances are you're probably not going to survive. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. Just follow the advice that I just gave you and hope for the best. Yeah. It's kind of like a minefield, except it's everywhere, literally. Host of influence. The host of influence is just like the mimic, a humanoid. And just like the harvester, it's stationary. But this is what makes it unique. First off, its appearance resembles a mimic, although shorter and missing legs, and protruding spikes out of its back. The host of influence will patiently wait for victims to inhale spores it releases. Once a victim is infected, they'll start walking towards the host of influence. Once there, they expose their vital organs and let the host of influence rip them open. Yeah, pretty gruesome. And once there, the host will feast off the dead corpse and wait for the next victim. If a host is not satisfied with its current position, it will uproot itself and start making it to a more populated and dense area. You guys may be wondering then, how do you defend against the host of influence? Well, the first precaution you can take is 1. Invest in a gas mask. Gas masks are effective at protecting against the spores and its effects. Make sure you have one, especially if you live in an area known to have hosts of influence. Number 2. Make sure you seal off any entry points in your home and add filtration systems to stop the spores from getting in. Number 3. If you have been infected, be grateful, okay? There is a cure and a vaccine against the spores. So if you think you've gotten infected or a loved one, immediately get them to the nearest clinic or hospital and get them treated for the infection. Effects take place after a few hours, so treatment isn't all too difficult. So that's how you defend against the host of influence. Let's move on to our next entity. The monoliths. The monoliths are these 400 feet tall fleshy creatures, made up entirely of fleshy strands. There's only been 7 of them ever recorded, standing in a circle. For odd reasons, they're extremely hostile, they're completely stationary, and their properties and purposes were completely unknown until recently. But we'll get into that later. So, how do you survive a monolith? Well, monoliths are stationary, so, well, you just stay away from them. It's really that simple. They're very easy to spot. They're like 400 feet tall. You should be just fine if you just don't go within radius. If you do come near them, you're dead. Yeah, you're gonna get murked. Yep, like there's no coming back. Do you really think you can survive a hit from this thing? No, you're not. You're just dead. I'm sorry. Singularities are these mysterious dark orbs, roughly a meter in diameter each. There's about 7 of them, each one protected by a monolith in a circle. For some reason, a unknown cult took the orbs and gathered them all in a facility, named Facility Zero. There they took it for an unknown ritual. Later, it was all confiscated by the government for research purposes. Then at the end of the series, these singularity orbs started acting strange, eventually causing all the monoliths to start chasing after them. And yeah, they pretty much dissolved like butter and then like merged with the orbs onto one, turned into this huge, disgusting bat-like creature. From what I know so far, I don't know crap about what that thing is and why they were doing this. Their goal still remains completely unknown. Scary, yeah. How you survive this? I'm sorry to tell you this, but I don't think you can, no. You'll need like the US Army to take on this thing. Alright, that's that. So, please, feel free to tell me what you thought I was right or wrong about in the comments. Anyways, peace out. See you in the next video.